to Straight Talk. I'm your host, Loretta Rose. Today, I am excited that you have joined today's show. We have a phenomenal success story. We have a gentleman on today's show, and he is a proven fact that you can turn a negative situation around to a positive outcome. Take a look at this video, and we'll be back with our special guest.
Norman Quarles was born in 1975 in Detroit, Michigan. He was raised primarily in Columbus, Georgia. Norman is a former drug dealer and user with only a 9th grade education. He is a 3-time convicted felon who served 3 separate prison sentences. But through the power of God in gaining a GED in the Georgia prison system, he was afforded an opportunity to attend Bible college. He is now on a mission for God to ultimately impact his community. Norman is an ordained minister in the Lord's Church. Norman is the assistant chaplain of the Muskogee County Jail, where he speaks to men weekly about vision and making positive choices that will affect their immediate future. Norman is also an author who has released his first book entitled A Story of Hope. A Story of Hope is a short book entailing his life and struggles with addictions and strongholds. Its aim is to help show young men and women there is a way out of their current situations and circumstances. Norman has a passion for young men in the streets to be transformed into tax-paying, law-abiding members of society. Norman works hands-on with men in the streets, diffusing problems between rivals on different sides of town. Norman is last but not least founder, president, and CEO of his own nonprofit organization, Impacting Generations. The website, impactinggenerations.com. This organization's aim is to help encourage young men and women to be who God has called them to be. His organization is currently working inside Baker Middle School through PI, or Partners in Education initiative, to help students excel in academics. He is also currently putting together a job initiative for young men who are willing to make that turn in life. Young men need an alternative, something to do through the leisure hours of the day when trouble is easy to get into. He feels this is a preventative measure in fighting crime in our city. Many of the young men in the streets he talks to on a daily basis feels nobody cares for them. Many of them even say they would do differently if given an opportunity. To achieve his goals, Norman is looking for sponsors who will commit annually with their resources to help fund his efforts to create jobs and provide better education for young men.
Thank you again for tuning in to today's show. As you can see, our very special guest is Mr. Norman Quarles. Welcome to today's show, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It is an honor to officially finally have a face-to-face conversation with you.
Yes, ma'am.
Because you are such a mentor in the community, and you're a minister.
Yes, ma'am.
And you wear many hats.
Yes, I do.
And I am super proud of you because we just watched your video, and you are a true success story. I am so proud of you, Norman. Wow. So for those that have just tuned in today's show, Norman, you may have heard of him and his nonprofit organization, but today you're going to get to meet the man behind the name, and you're going to also get a chance to feel and see his heart as well. Again, you have been in this Tri-City area for about how long now?
I would say I moved from Detroit when I was around 10 or 11 years old, so I'm 43 now. I would say about 32 years.
Wow. So you transitioned from Detroit, Michigan to Columbus?
Yes, ma'am.
As a little boy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And your journey because I was reading and watching your video, you've had a hard knock life lesson.
Yes.
You know that's what we say on the street. we got that degree of hard knocks.
Yes, ma'am.
And
yes,
if you don't know what that means, that means life lessons.
Yeah.
I
have. Actually, my mom got us away from Detroit at a very young age to basically escape the streets, but the same thing is everywhere. So I basically gradually got into the streets here. I can remember when I was about 12 years old, my mom got sick. She had a brain aneurysm, and I thought my mom was not going to be here, so I really just turned and went a whole different direction. Glory be to God, my mom, she ended up coming out of that situation, coming out of the aneurysm, and learning how to walk and learning how to live again. But by that time, I was too far gone.
Wow, wow, 12. So it started with you at the age of 12.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow, wow, wow. You're going to be a blessing to some parents that are probably watching, and grandparents, because a lot of grandparents are raising their children now.
Yeah.
At the age of 12, what could have affected your mindset at that point? What do you think? You know, because I want to help somebody else that probably have a 12-year-old.
Honestly, you know, after I've come into my relationship with Christ and getting a better understanding of things and life in general, I realized that I was basically depressed. And depression is something that, you know, we quote unquote don't like to talk about in the church. We spiritualize everything. But writing my first book, you know, I heard God speak to me. And he told me why I was depressed, because basically I never wanted to leave Detroit. I never wanted to come to the South. And I even held bitterness and anger towards my mom for bringing us here. And I didn't get delivered from that until I started writing my first book, and that's when God started to unveil stuff to me about what was really going on inside of me internally. So
wow, that's amazing. That was how you cope with it.
Yeah.
With your behavior.
Yeah.
But didn't understand it.
Yeah.
Wow.
I just went to the streets, and I can remember standing at a utility box out in the East Urban Heights, South Forest Road, and I smoked my first joint. And from there, it took off.
Wow.
It took off. Selling drugs, fighting, gang banging, whatever. I was doing it all.
Wow.
You know?
Wow, wow, wow. So I've heard also in the video, you went off to do 3 prison sentences.
Yeah, I graduated from the Juvenile System. My first incarceration was the YDC here in Columbus, Georgia, and I had a crime, you know, that they gave me some time for, and I ended up going to Macon YDC. I got in trouble at Macon YDC, and they sent me to Millersville YDC. And basically, there was no rehabilitation. I was basically learning to become a better criminal. So once I got out of juvenile, you know, just basically graduated to the adult system, you know?
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you think that our youth and young adults that get in the juvenile system, are they getting the proper rehabilitation that they need now? Do you feel like
Honestly, I don't think so. I don't think so. But I do know that there are a lot of people that work in juveniles and officers and whatever position they're in. A lot of them care, but they don't have the resources, nor do they have the manpower. And there are a lot of restrictions, you know, say for instance, somebody like me that would have an opportunity to share with those young men, they don't allow somebody with a quote unquote felony to come in and speak to the young men. There are so many hoops, you know, that you would have to jump through just to help those kids. And basically you're the person that could really help
exactly.
them. You know, so.
Exactly. Because you can show them and tell them, you know, how to come out or be a visual of what your choices, you know, the power of your choices. And that's what I love about you, because you're so transparent. Now you're a family man. You're married, has a daughter, and which is a blessing. Your family is so lovely.
Thank you.
Through your time of serving your sentences, you had a turning point.
Yeah.
I want to help people to understand the power of that turning point.
Yeah. I can never forget. I'll never forget it. 2007 was my last time being incarcerated. I got out. Excuse me, coming into 2010. But I slept for about a week, because actually I was an alcoholic. I was on cocaine. I mean, I snorted so much cocaine till it just wasn't fun. I started at 15 and didn't stop until I was in my 30s. And I had some charges. You know, the police were looking for me for some sale cases. I had sold to some undercover cops, some ecstasy, some crack. And I started saying to myself that, you know what, you're going to have to face this. You know, if you're ever going to do what you say to yourself, that you're going to give life an honest try, because that's what I would say to myself. Although I was doing wrong, there would always be this voice in the back of my head saying, you could do right, you could do better, you can do this, you can do that. And I got locked up that last time, and You know, I just got fed up. I actually got up from sleeping for about a week. You know, I would only get up to take a shower, but when I finally got up and I went downstairs and I sat on the table, I just heard God speak to me, and he told me that, he called me son. He said, son, if you go back out there with the same thing, I won't promise you life. I made a decision right then and there. I made a decision right then and there that I was gonna serve God, you know. And I always, you know, I was always aware of Jesus. I always believed in him, but I just, you know, it was time for me to just change. It was time. I had got sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah. That was your that old saying. I got tired and sick and tired of being, you know, and tired. Wow, I am so proud of you because you're so transparent, and that's how we help others.
Yes.
How did you, when you made that, you had that turning point, and you heard that voice, you got out, and then what happened? You just immediately started going to church, or?
What I did was, first I had to go back to school because I dropped out of school in the 9th grade. I actually only went to high school for 4 days before I quit. I went to high school 4 days and I quit. But I was pretty intelligent, you know. I knew I could do the work. I just, you know, the streets had me. So I ended up going back to school in prison. I went back and I got my GED. And when I got my GED, once I got out, it afforded me an opportunity to go to Bible college.
Wow.
Went to Bible college, and of course I went to a service. My wife, she was somebody I was dating then. My wife Aurora, she invited me to Ann Hartman's church. Glory to God.
Amen.
Bishop. I heard this woman ministering. I heard Ann Hartman ministering. That's who raised me in the gospel, and you know, I never looked back. I never looked back, and I ended up going to Bible college. I sat up under Dr. Sandra Anderson. She was my professor, and actually she was my pastor at one point.
Wow.
Because Bishop sent me over there to be with her for a while to learn some things. And once I became a minister, you know, I hit the streets. You know, I hit the streets, and I decided that, you know, young men, you know, that grew up like me, I decided I wanted to touch their life in some way.
Wow. And that's what I call you, street evangelist.
Okay, glory to God.
You know,
glory to God.
That's what you do. You go out there and you are sharing that word. You're not just in your comfort zone reading the word, carrying the word, but you're going out there sharing the word.
Yes,
and you're ministering to people in places where nobody want to go. That's what I love about you. And I know that's the God in you to do that. We're going to take a break, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to find out more about what his nonprofit organization is all about, and about his street ministry, because that's what he does. He does street ministry. That's why he's here on Street Talk. You're watching Street Talk. I'm Loretta Rose. We'll be back after this.
Marie, you have prediabetes.
Prediabetes? I don't have time to eat right or exercise. I'm a busy mom.
Oh, you're a busy mom.
Yeah.
This is great news. Busy moms never get prediabetes.
Wait, what?
Let me just... Yeah, this is all the people at risk for prediabetes, and way over here, busy moms. No?
Welcome back to today's show. We're talking to mentor and minister Norman Quarles, and he is a blessing. I appreciate you, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
We were talking about your journey, and now you're advocating for young males in the community and young adults. I want people to understand why it's so important to pour into them, because you pouring all the time.
It's important because I believe, first and foremost, everybody deserves a second chance. Everybody has done something in their life that they don't approve of. We've all done things that God doesn't approve of. So my thing is to go out there and talk to young men, talk to young women, you know, those who don't have that father figure or that mentor. I want to be that mentor. I want to show them that, you know, look at my life. Look at my life. My life could have went totally a different way, but I made a decision, and I'm always sure to tell them that your life is the sum total of the choices that you make. And it's basically time to start making some better choices. I talk to young men and young women all the time, and I ask them what they want to be. Even throughout the school system, what do you want to be? And they all have these ideas and these jobs and these dreams that they want to pursue. But I let them know this is going to take work. It's going to take a dedication. It's going to take, first and foremost, decision after decision, daily decisions. And first and foremost, find a relationship with God. Find a relationship with God through Christ.
That's right.
Because at the end of the day, that's what you need to ultimately succeed in all you do.
Absolutely. And your organization is in the schools.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I had a friend that knew a friend that knew a friend.
Praise God.
And actually, she basically told me what I needed to put on an application to be able to get into the school system. So I done that, and the Chamber of Commerce, they approved it. They approved me as a PI partner. PI stands for Partners in Education. And what we do is we go inside Baker Middle School, and I have friends, I have associates, and I just ask them for their time. You know, I ask them to donate some of their time, to volunteer, to go into the school. Let's help our children with math. Let's help our children to read better. So I have people that will go inside of some of the classrooms where they're having trouble. They go inside and they help out in math. They help out in reading. They help out in whatever aspect they can. You know, that children will be able to pull those scores up and start looking towards college or start looking towards technical college. My program and everything I do inside of Baker Middle School is career oriented. You know, it's to channel children and to have them to focus, you know, at a young age. Not wait until you get to high school to start thinking about what you want to do in life.
Yeah, you're planting that seed now, young. That's good. What's the name of the organization?
Impacting Generations is the name of my organization. We are a 501c3. We are a nonprofit. We're tax deductible. So, you know, if people would like to sow or give into what we're doing, you know, of course we'll have that information for them.
Well, help them to understand more about what Impacting Generation does, because you go out.
Okay.
I've seen you in neighborhoods. I've seen you praying with people.
Yes, ma'am.
I've seen you comforting people. I've seen you motivating,
yes, ma'am,
inspiring people. I mean, literally out there in neighborhoods where people don't want to go.
Yes, ma'am. We have two specific programs that we're concentrating on now. One is called the Street Initiative. I dubbed it the Street Initiative because the Bible teaches us to go into all the world.
That's right.
So I have to go out, you know, and it's not for everybody, but we have to understand we have to grab a hold of that text. The Bible says go into all the world. So all the world may not be just the neighborhood or the hood. All the world is the mean lady at the gas station every morning.
Yeah.
We should be able to minister to her. But for me, I go to the streets. You know, I go to the streets because I'm from the streets. And I had a pretty reputation. I had a good reputation in the street, you know, and it gave me leeway. You know, it gave me leeway. And when guys see me, they say, okay, I know him. Or somebody knows me. Their uncle knows me. And they know that, you know, what I'm doing now, I'm for it. And just basically go out and minister, just be a light. You know, I don't go out and beat people over the head with the Bible.
That's right.
But what I do, I go out and I show the love of Christ. I show the love of Christ. And when you show the love of Christ, then people will start to inquire about your job.
Absolutely.
I mean, about your Lord. Excuse me.
Absolutely, absolutely. I want to also say congratulations to you, because you have received numerous awards for your humanitarian works.
Yes, ma'am.
That's a blessing. That's an honor.
Yeah. Community Mentor Award, Heroes Award, Award for Who's Who, Dr. King Humanitarian Award, and all of them are great. You know, I humbly accept all of them. You know, because it shows. You know, it's a reminder to me that, you know, somebody is being touched. Somebody sees what you're doing, because I get up every day with a purpose to touch a life.
Oh my God.
I mean, I honestly get up every day to touch a life. Yeah.
Yes.
My daily bread is to touch a life in some type of way. And if I don't do that, I don't feel right. You know?
Praise God. Oh my God. Because I understand the power of that. And that fuels you as well. You've written 2 books now, right? And tell us the name of your books.
The first book is called A Story of Hope. A Story of Hope is basically my life in a nutshell. It's how God pulled me out, you know, the situation, and the things I was doing, the addictions, you know, unfruitful relationships, going to prison 3 times. You know, it's all about that. It's all about, you know, basically letting young men know that, you know, you can change, you know, but you have to change through your decision. Decision making is important, and nobody's gonna make a decision for you. So it's basically, you know, about my life and about my trials and tribulations and struggles. My second book is A Conversation with the Believer. It's a book that God placed on my heart to write, just to write to the believer, and also for those who don't name the name of Christ. There are principles that come from the Word of God that can be applied universally, you know. So yeah, it's a book written to believers, and I would encourage people to read it, you know, because it's a good book.
How can people find your books?
My first book, they will be in print soon.
Okay.
Again, we'll be printing some more, and also the second we'll start doing some more printing of those. We'll have to wait because I don't know which avenue I'm going to use with that, but I will definitely provide you with the information.
Yes, and we'll have a cover of the book on the show as well, so people can see it as well in his website, so you can follow him. You said something that really, really struck me and was profound. Unfruitful relationships. God taught you about that. I want you to help somebody with that.
All relationships, one of the things that we fail to discern in life is that people are seasonal. Some people are seasonal. And a lot of times we try to drag a person into a season that they shouldn't be in, you know, and we frustrate the purpose of God in our lives. And then we start to blame people. Because I believe God shows us and gives us signs, and He talks to us, and you know, a lot of times, you know, we hang on to things that we should let go, you know, and that's what I mean by unfruitful relationships. It may not be a bad relationship,
that's right,
but sometimes it's just, you know, you can be friends from a distance.
Yeah.
You know, yeah.
Everything has its season.
Yeah.
And sometimes we don't want to move into the next season.
Right.
We're trying to hold on to, you know, a season that is already gone.
Yeah, it's already gone.
It's already gone.
Yeah.
Wow. So Norman, I want to thank you again. God bless you.
God bless
you are just such a blessing. I'm so proud of you.
Yes,
I'm so proud of you. We need you in schools, motivating, recreational centers. He'll even come to your church, because I've seen you at church events as well out in the community. Thank you for being transparent, sharing your experience to bring hope to another.
Yes.
With final thoughts, I want you to speak from your heart to the people, and also let them know how they can contact you if they would.
Yeah, first of all, I would like to say to parents, get involved. Parents, get involved in your children's lives. Go to the schools, ask questions, inquire about what your child is doing. Reach out to there are many organizations throughout this Tri-City area. There are many men that want to mentor young men, but we have to be given an opportunity. Also, get your children in some type of activity. We all heard the old saying, the idle mind is the devil's workshop. Get the kids into something, whether it's academics, academia, or sports. Get your children into something. There are organizations throughout this city that will help. I will help. My organization will help with funding and being able to pay and to help kids get into something that they could grow in. But ultimately, I want to encourage everybody to find a relationship with Christ. I want to encourage people to take pride, you know, in their neighborhood, to take pride in where they live, you know, to just seek to become a better person overall. Just seek to become a better person overall. I'm praying for the community. I'm praying for your child. I'm praying for families. And I just ask, you know, that, you know, if you're having trouble with your teen, with young men, I have women that can help with your young ladies. Reach out to us. Reach out to Impacting Generations. You know, it's Impacting Generations for God. That's little g, the number 4, little g, @gmail.com. Email us. Reach out to us. My website, for those who would like to sow into what we're doing, is www.impactinggenerations.com. You can go on, click donate button, and you'll be able to sow into what we're doing. And I just want to encourage this community to come together. There's too much division throughout this community. So I want to encourage everybody to do what they can in their sphere of influence. We all have a sphere of influence in which we will be able to help people. So find out what your niche is and help in that. You know, everybody can't do everything. I can't do everything, but encourage people. You know, if you could just smile at a person every day. Let's everybody do something, you know, to uplift our community. Because at the end of the day, you know, we're all responsible for each other. That's what love thy neighbor means. We're all responsible for each other.
Wow, I love it. So you've heard it from the heart of minister, mentor, Norman Quarles. Wow, powerful. That's what love thy neighbor is all about. Thank you so much for tuning in. He has blessed us. Please support this wonderful organization, and who knows, it may be a blessing to your child or grandchildren. It starts with us. As we change where we are, it affects our neighborhood, our community, our cities, and then our states, and then the world. Thank you for tuning in. Remember, life is all about what you make it. What you put out, it will come back. You've been watching Street Talk with Loretta Rose. Until next time, you be blessed.